how can we learn from and utilize nature in order to build more sustainable cities in a context of climate change? And how can nature help cities adapt to increasing climate extremes and variability like floods, changes in temperatures, heat waves, windstorms, and landslides? Cities need concrete answers, guidance, and planning tools. To do so, cities look for new ways to learn from each other and work towards closer cooperation between academia, the private sector, as well as citizens. This is why we created the City-to-City Learning Lab on nature-based planning and adaptation. It's a transdisciplinary project with an approach that is very different to conventional projects. It is based on the identified local needs of municipalities and a mutual desire for an increased exchange of knowledge. Accordingly, the project aims and activities were jointly developed by all project participants. We come together for mutual learning and knowledge co-creation. Together, we analyze, compare, and learn from the integration of nature-based approaches for climate change adaptation in the daily planning practices of municipalities. We look into related barriers and drivers, like stakeholder involvement, collaboration between city and its citizens, policies and governance structures. We analyze how to overcome existing barriers and how to tap into existing potentials. To do this, a specific activity or project in each municipality is analyzed step by step from the project idea throughout detailed planning, procurement, implementation, maintenance, and follow-up. The City-to-City Learning Lab allows us to learn from each other in an engaging process, and importantly, it creates trust that opens up for new ideas and pathways towards sustainability.
Here in Lomma, we have recently analyzed two of our nature-based solutions projects. The first is a coastal flood protection barrier with integrated ecosystem services. And the second is a school and a preschool where we made ecosystem services an integral part of the building process. When we designed the coastal protection project, it was not only designed as a way to reduce flood risk, but we also wanted it to be a recreational space for our citizens. And on top of that, we wanted to make a room for biodiversity. In order to do so, we built natural beach meadows sown with natural dune species. But in the areas with more structured lawns, we also made patches of natural dune meadows. The goal was to create an area that was both high in biodiversity while at the same time having high accessibility. When we built the school, climate change adaptation was addressed by a range of different multipurpose measures. We tried to really minimize the impact on existing trees and green spaces, and the school is basically built in between existing trees with green roofs on all the buildings. We also kept a part of the schoolyard as sort of a wilderness to increase biodiversity and environmental education and to promote nature-based solutions and climate adaptation. The main driver has been a change in how we think about these issues. We have, for example, improved our internal working structures, and we have developed a method for ecological compensation. This has meant that different professions collaborated more than they usually do, and in the end a lot more greenery was saved and a lot more natural species were introduced to urban areas. Biodiversity is often overlooked as a relevant factor in urban developments, but working with it can really increase quality of life in cities. I strongly believe that regulations on a national level have to change to better support nature-based solutions and climate change adaptation in both urban and rural areas. Currently, the state gives the municipalities monopoly on planning, but at the same time it restricts and regulates the possibilities to fulfill national and local goals on the local level. This is a problem, and in the long term this situation will lead to deterioration regarding land use, biodiversity and our possibilities to protect the well-being of our citizens. If we can solve this problem, it will help us support nature-based solutions to address climate change. Since both this approach for knowledge co-creation and the planning for nature-based solutions and climate adaptation are fairly new, we must learn together. Every place is different and has different problems that need solving. So the creation of processes for interacting with other cities and stakeholders is very valuable and inspiring. This is important for supporting nature-based solutions in our cities and to help us better address climate change.